there's a dinner the night before the golf outing, and at the dinner is a bunch of NFL quarterbacks,
Sure.
former players, current players. I'm a big sports guy, so I'm like John Elway, Dan Marino, and like
Yeah,
now those two guys actually weren't there, but
yeah.
as an example, a lot
You're,
of
you're you're
NFL,
surrounded by stars that you're like in awe of.
yes, and I'm not normally like that
You
around
don't get starstruck.
a little bit, but not like
Yeah.
it's athletes that kind of I'm like, oh my God. And they're
Sure, sure,
always
sure.
usually bigger people too. So
Of course. No, and I get it because there's something about an athlete because like the dedication, like the
yeah, they have
work.
like a talent and a confidence level. And so anyway, I see he was one of my favorite quarterbacks. He played
Yeah.
for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
His name's Ben Roethlisberger. I walk up
Okay.
to the publicist and I say, hey, can I say hi to Ben? I'm a huge fan. She's like, yeah, of course. Just go. Like I'm at like a private charity event. Like I'm supposed to be there. It's not awkward or weird if I say hi to him, but I'm still like, I'm not sure if I can.
Of course.
He's like, just go up and say hi to him. So I walk up. He's 6'5". I'm 6'5". He's a big guy still. And I'm like, hey, Ben, I'm Carl Radke. I'm from Upper St. Clair in Pittsburgh. Without a beat, he goes,
He
cake
calls
eater,
you a cake eater.
without a beat. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. He's like, sorry, man. You know how it is.
You're a cake eater.
And that's like I have the former quarterback. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. First time I shake his hand, the first thing out of his mouth when I told him where I'm from is cake eater. I'm like,
Is that in the book?
in my head, I go, that's the title.
MeMeCherry presents a series of fortunate events. Fortunate events. Fortunate events. A series of fortunate events.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of the series of Fortunate Events Podcast, brought to you by who? It's still me, MeMeCherry, and I'm joined today by
Carl Radke.
Carl from Soft Bar King to Cake Eater, the Bravo boy who grew up in front of us. And I say boy, but you're a man. Talk to me about being on Summer House for as long as you have. If you could give any piece of advice to season one Carlito, what would you tell Carlito?
Great question.
Thank you. I have a podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You know, what you think I don't know, just like everything in your life is going to be very different than what you think it's going to be.
Of course.
I think it's hard to I mean, obviously everybody would love to go back and transfer time travel to like years ago and change things or switch things or tell your older self or younger self something. But
Of
I feel like
course.
everything that happened, it all just lended itself to where I am today. And it was just a part of the process and the journey.
Yeah, you kind of took it out of my mouth because I was gonna say if I were gonna say something to mine younger self, it would be trust the process. And so
Yeah.
I feel like that's the
Be
through
patient.
line.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Things take time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was 29 years old when, that we first started that first summer. So
Yeah.
definitely, I mean, I'm matured a little bit, but certainly still have a lot of work to do. So
Just a little bit. Un poquito. I know that you've done a fair amount of healing on camera. Tell me about your healing off camera. And I'm sure that there were certain things that you allowed to be vulnerable about, but is there anything about that more close at home process that you're willing to share with somebody? Oh, and for context, I reached out to Carl last year when you were sharing, your sobriety journey on the show. I was exploring my sobriety from alcohol. And I reached out to say thank you for being an inspiration, and if you wanted to be on the podcast, and you were like so generous. You were like, "Thank you, but not right now, but thank you." And then, long story short, I circled back, and now we're here.
well,
And fast forward, I'm a year
congrats on your,
sober. Thank you. I'm a year sober from alcohol.
yeah.
Shout out Recess. Please have them at Soft Bar if you can. Not sponsored, but hopefully someday.
I've had some recess. I'm familiar with the brand. It's cool
What do
product.
you think? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a cool brand. I don't drink it every day, or
Of
I've
course.
had it before, but I'm familiar with the brand. They've done a good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. So talk to me about your off-camera healing. I'm sure that was some hard work that you put into yourself because you've come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, off-camera healing. I guess it's not like I didn't like go to like healing school. You know,
Sure. I mean, have you done meditating? Have you read books? Like, what has been part of that process for you that you've kind of been putting the bricks back together to build the new Carl?
yeah, I mean, I think it was more about just figuring out. I don't think it's about being a new version. It's actually like the version I've been this whole time, and just
Work.
scraping away all the drugs and alcohol that I was doing, and just cleaning up a lot of some of the messes I created, and doing a lot
Sure.
of work on myself. But I mean, for me, since I've, even before I was like sober, you know, knew enough to know that, meditation and therapy and working out were all really important. I mean, even when I was drinking and using a lot of cocaine, I still worked out. I still went to the gym. I still attempted to meditate, but I'd say since I've like actually fell to my knees and was, I mean, I basically almost died from my drinking and cocaine use. I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. So like my story isn't necessarily the same as everybody's. Everybody has their own
Sure.
path and journey, but for me, it was all about staying alive. So, I got help. I went to a friend of mine who actually told me I should go to AA. And I went to AA meetings. That was in January of 2021,
Good
my
for you.
first meeting. And from there, just started the process of working meetings and steps. And I had a sponsor. That was my main focus, was that it was really just not picking up alcohol anymore, because alcohol would lead me to cocaine, and it was killing me. I mean, I almost died from my last day of drinking and using.
Yeah, no, I feel for you. Yeah, my alcohol use definitely was getting a little not cool. And I have built a pretty decent life for myself at my day job, and this is like a side hustle at entrepreneurship. You know all about that, and we'll get into that. But yeah, no, I have a really good day job that takes care of this little life that I've built for myself with no degree, right? Like off the back of like my resume over the years. And I saw myself losing it. And I was like, Mariana, qué pendeja. Like, you don't want to be so dumb that you lose all this, that like you just got here. So that
Totally.
was part of what helped me kind of wake up. I also got catfished. That helped kind of like wake me up out of my delusion.
Yeah.
And yeah, we all have our bottoms, right?
No, I mean, it can come in in various forms. I'm fortunate that my bottom wasn't like crashing a car, or
Sure.
harming someone else. I was in my apartment by myself drinking and, using tons of cocaine, and just that was towards my last several days and weeks of my using and drinking were very isolating by myself. And that's obviously it was a major problem up until that point, but it was becoming
Yeah.
even more so, just because I was not responding to people, just staying in my apartment, drinking and using cocaine all day.
Yeah, you were isolating into your hole of numbing pain. And
Yep.
then the pain got to the point that you couldn't numb it anymore. And thankfully, right? Because it snaps you out of it. Yeah, no, I had some pretty dark times by myself too. So I can
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
relate
I
to you.
think around that time period, I mean, 6 months prior to my rock bottom, my brother passed away from a drug
Yes, and I'm
overdose.
so sorry for your loss.
Thanks. That was a big catalyst, to really, well, it was a catalyst to like use and go crazy, because I had kind of used that, a few months after his passing and everything, to like grieve the wrong way. I mean, I was drinking a lot and trying to mask those feelings and trying to bury everything I was feeling. But the other part that I was really struggling with was, this happened in the Hamptons. I found out while we were filming, it was covered within, the show. So I had a ton of anxiety and fear around it happened in real life. And then now this is going to air again on TV and coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I couldn't handle that. So I just, drank and tried to feel better by using cocaine and
You were numbing the pain.
yeah, exactly. So that was a big part of, at that time in my life, where I was coming from. At least I was just really sad and depressed, and just the tragic loss of my brother. It just, yeah, it was brutal. It was horrible. And we
Yeah.
I tried to really like deal with it in the right way. I did a little bit initially, but I remember vividly, I saw an article come up on the internet, like, fans are praising Carl Radke for how he's, dealing with the loss of his brother.
Sure.
I had raised some money for a charity, that did work with with addiction and mental health. But here I was getting praised and like all this support, but then I'm privately in my apartment drinking and using cocaine. It was eating at me alive inside, and I knew I needed to get help, and I knew I needed to do something, but I didn't know how to exactly like fully get there. I mean, I tried a lot of different things. The year prior, I'd hired a therapist or worked with a therapist and was really honest about my drinking, but it just took the journey isn't linear for everybody.
No, and it won't be, right? Because it continues to be a journey. It's a path that you will be on for the rest of your life
Totally.
as a blessing. It's a blessed path to be on, but it's not an
Totally.
easy path.
No, I
It's
think
like,
people want like a quick fix or like a quick solution. I did
yeah,
this and I got it figured out, but it's actually the real work continues to come in as you get more sober.
lest you be a dry drunk, my dear.
Exactly. So I'm a little over
Which I
four
had a
years.
few of those in my life, so I totally know what that looks and feels like.
Totally. Yeah, and I'm a little over 4 years. I mean, 4.5 coming up in June, which is
Congrats.
good.
Yeah,
Feeling good, but I life still comes at you.
of
Job,
course.
relationships.
You're
But
starting a huge business. I mean, that alone. And
yeah,
I
so,
get it. I made MeMeCherry Productions officially a business this year. LLC got approved and all of that.
that's
And of course, because I come from a line of entrepreneurs and I'm team too much and I'm an overachiever, I was like, why not just start a production company? Let's start a micro bakery too. So I'm in the process of doing that. But ultimately it's because, one of these days I want to build something, and it takes time to build, so that when the time comes that like maybe the corporate life says, okay, you're not surviving layoffs anymore, I want to be like ready with my own thing and not be at like the mercy of the market. But it's scary, as you know, like, and right now more than ever, like this is a hard time. But I remember, and I do smoke weed, so I have a stoner brain, but there's stuff that gets locked back in there, and I'm usually right. And I remember seeing a quote somewhere that like the businesses that start during a recession and can survive a recession tend to be the ones that end up being very successful. And so I wish that for you, and I'm hoping to
thank you.
manifest that for you. So let's talk about Soft Bar a little bit.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind this new business that you're starting?
Yeah, I mean, kind of multifaceted for me. Back in 2018, Kyle Cook, my best friend, he's also on Summer House. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
We were friends before the show was a thing, and would trade different business ideas or startup ideas. So he had the foresight of wanting to create like a healthy, low sugar, low calorie, hard tea. So
Healthier.
the quotes we created basically a version of a twisted tea, but
Sure.
twisted tea in that this is now 2016, 2017, so almost like 8 or 9 years ago. The twisted teas that we were drinking are loaded with sugar and calories, but we didn't really realize that. I love the product. It tastes great, but the hangover is horrible and it was loaded with sugar. So, I was healthy in my daily life, and then now I'm drinking all these horrible things at night. So our
Yeah.
idea was, let's create a healthier zero sugar hard tea using really high quality ingredients. Now, we launched this brand in 2018, brought it to market in 2019. I was the VP of sales, also, an equity holder.
Yeah.
I realized that I had a problem, and I was
Yeah.
realizing this personally, and then also even professionally. There were some times where, I was doing meetings with people about Loverboy. It's 2 o'clock at a bar in New York, and let's sample it. And
Yeah.
Tuesday, and I'm
Yeah, no,
drinking.
I've worked in many a San Francisco startup where we had a liquid lunch with the CEO a lot.
And business over cocktails and beverages is a very common thing in a lot of, sectors. I
Yeah.
came from a sales environment and entrepreneur environment where it is that you would take your clients out, you entertain, you take people to dinners,
Yeah.
nightclubs, all the things. So yeah, I mean, it works until it doesn't.
Of
But for
course.
me, working at an alcohol company that I'm the face of, but then realizing I have a problem, I started to really struggle with that, because I am promoting a company that I'm not consuming.
Yeah, it
I was
doesn't align with your values that, the you that you're living today.
Exactly. So, I started to look around and ask a lot of questions, and I was actually blown away when I first got sober working in the alcohol industry. I had a lot of people reach out to me because they had heard through social media and publicly. And people that work at alcohol companies reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, I'm sober too."
Mm,
And I had a lot of that. People, general managers of restaurants and bars.
yeah.
"Hey, Carl, can I talk to you for a second? Just so, by the way, like I'm 20 years sober."
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I've found
left
that too
and
in the
right.
nightlife industry because I have a lot of friends that do drag,
Yeah.
and I noticed that in the drag industry that you get the younger ones love to party, but anybody that's been around long enough, 9 out of 10 of them are sober.
Well, the only way to stay around long enough is to be sober,
Just to get sober. Yeah.
being in that environment, nonstop, the temptations, just all of it is really challenging. But I
Yeah, yeah.
actually think the only way to really survive in that environment is to not drink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But for some, it's hard if you have for me, I have a problem. Like I can't control if I have a sip, I will have 15 sips.
Exactly.
But again, not everybody's, that's just my personal story. So,
Yeah, that I get that feeling sometimes like I get sad sometimes that I can't just have one.
well,
And like
but
recently something really bad happened. Like I had to fire a friend that was working for me. There was like a big production meltdown that happened like during a podcast. An audio file was lost, and like I had spent so much money just on the production of that show. It was like an on-site shoot. And like I woke up the next morning and like saw that the Tweedledee and Tweedledum closed the computer without saving the audio file. And I wanted to throw up. I wanted to drink. I wanted to like hurt myself. Like I went through all the gamut of emotions, but I made it through the day. And
yeah,
then when I got to like having to edit the episode, I was like, fuck. I remember years ago going to like the dive bar where the drinks were cheap because I like editing back then would be such a like mind pain. I would just numb the pain, drink while I would edit. And it took me back to that space that like I was so triggered not wanting to edit the episode. I was like, oh, I wish I could go back to the dive bar and like drink. But I made it through and I got through the night and I got through the day. And what
that's
I've
what
done
happens. Like,
basically is trade it with the gym.
and I think everybody has their solutions for stuff,
Yeah,
whether it's working out, meditation, therapy, going to AA. There's a
exactly.
variety of ways people can kind of, I think, trade out that drinking environment or socializing. It's hard though. I mean, if it's, for me, I had to get support and get help to stay
I
sober. I couldn't do it without like the support of other people and working steps in the programs, but that's what's
yeah.
worked.
Of course. I just met you. I'm super proud of you. And before we started the show, we were talking and you said something, I'll quote you loosely, like, I'm nobody, like, who wants to talk to me? This moment right now, these conversations. This is why I have this show to share these moments because just as much as I love having like, oh, my drag queen friends talk about the drag show, like I'm super proud of the episodes like this where I talk to somebody who's struggled with addiction, who struggled with mental health, who struggled, period, and made it through because I've struggled a lot in life. I've had many a dark night and many a dark day and thankfully made it through. There's another quote that I saw that birds sing in the morning to let each other know they made it through the night. And so sing away, baby. You know what I mean?
I am a morning guy now.
Me too. Not a guy, but I'm a morning
The
girl.
other saying I like is the early bird gets the worm.
Yes. So we're gonna take this airplane and just take it to a hard left, and
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
I don't
turn
even
into.
think I answered your question about soft bar fully.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, Bill, please, keep going, keep going.
no, long-winded, I guess, is how I describe because I'm not sure how familiar your listeners are with just my professional,
Of course.
I've been on a reality show, but I've been an entrepreneur, I've been building, Loverboy, and I've been doing other things prior to that. But being at an alcohol company, not drinking and being sober, that's
Yeah,
what really tipped me off to like wanting to start something in the non-alcoholic space.
sure.
So as a consumer, it's for literally, I go to coffee shops and bars here in New York City. And the other fun fact, I don't drink coffee.
Oh,
For me, it makes me more anxious and jittery and I don't like the way it makes me feel.
I get that.
So I don't drink coffee and I don't drink alcohol. There's literally nowhere for me to go in this city other than like a coffee shop and drink water
Yeah,
or go to like a bar and drink a non-alcoholic beer that's kind of like an afterthought.
sure.
So I don't think it's 2025. In my eye, there should be an experience, an all-day cafe or bar you can come and sit down and hang out, have a drink that's non-alcoholic, but also has high quality ingredients. It's healthy. It's good, and it's a good experience, but it's not all about, you don't have to be sober to walk in the door. You can
Of
be
course.
anybody. You could have had a drink in the parking lot. Come on in. We have an amazing drink for you. It just doesn't have alcohol.
Yeah, no, I come to parties bearing my non-alcoholic drinks, and you'd be amazed how often people will have had a few drinks and then they're like, actually, I want something that doesn't have it. Can I have one of yours, Lynn? And I'm like, of course, yeah, have it.
Yep.
And when I was having my mind-numbing editing moment, it would have been nice to have somewhere cool and nice. And I looked around and I was like, oh, nothing really spoke to me. It's like I just sat down and like grinded it out here. But yeah, I would love somewhere nice like that out here in the Bay Area. So,
Yeah.
um,
I think it's, there are some things that have popped up in the last few years that there are some stores that are in most major cities. I know there's one in San Francisco. It's called the New Bar, and
oh,
it's a retailer. You walk in, there's a bunch of shelves. It's all non-alc products.
oh, good to know.
Now it's a smaller shop. They're really cool. I love them, but it's not a place like you're gonna hang out at. Like you
Of
don't
course.
you
It's
buy
a
it,
shop.
yeah, you buy it and leave. And
Yeah.
it was those kinds of stores that also inspired me to want to create Soft Bar, which it's flipping it on its side. Like I think you should be able to sample it and try it before you take it home.
Also
And that's
community, right? Because I feel like that's something that got lost in the pandemic. It's just like that sense of community, going somewhere where people know you, going somewhere where people recognize you. Like you're building a space for that, and there's
totally.
power in community. So good for you for that too.
Yeah, no, I'm all about the community aspect. I think giving people, there's a lot of people out there that have felt like they don't have a place to go.
Yeah.
This is for them. And then there's a lot of people that actually are sick of where they're currently going and want to change it up or want a different option, whether it's a non-alcoholic option or a functional coffee. We serve mushroom coffee, we serve cacao,
Oh.
matcha, not the psychedelics, but there are
No,
healthy
I know
mushrooms.
there's functional mushrooms.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, yeah,
functional
yeah.
mushrooms. So a lot of those other alternatives that, okay, we're not drinking alcohol here, but we're going to serve you a drink that's going to make you feel good or hydrate
Yeah.
you or calm you
Yeah.
down or focus you because we use
That's
those
why I like the magnesium in the Reese's drinks because it kind of
exact.
gives me that like nice little
Yes,
takes
it
the
kind
edge
of
off.
calms, takes the edge off. We are like what's in that can of recess. We're creating a cocktail using those kinds of ingredients.
Oh, well, I can't wait to come to New York and check it out.
No way
Well,
to
we will do a little more soft bar chatting, but one thing that SOFEpod, aka Series of Fortune Events, is known about is not only do we get deep and we talk and we get emotional. You haven't cried yet, but it's okay. You're welcome to. But I also love playing silly games. And I, for many, many years, said that my podcast was the love child of Andy Cohen and Barbara Walters because I loved playing very kind of like Watch What Happens Live style games, but my own version. Over the years, I said, I'm no longer that. I am just me. But I love that I have you here. So I have to. Will you indulge me in a Bravo themed, fun, quick little game?
sure.
Okay, perfect. So this game is called Who Said That? I'm gonna give you some Bravo celebrity quotes, and you're gonna try to guess who said it, if you
Okay,
can. Don't worry if you can't. It's part of the game.
I'll do it.
And if you can tell me what show they're from, you get extra points.
Okay,
Now, what those points are going to get you, you won't find out till after the game. But are you in?
I'm in. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. Who said that? My vocals are a gift, but my shade is a curse. And you can ask for hints if you want.
That's a housewife for sure.
It's a housewife. Yes, yes, yes. Ding, ding, ding. Do you want East Coast, West Coast?
I'm guessing East Coast.
Ding, ding, ding. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Hey, Luann.
Ooh, you got close, but no cigar. It's Candy Burris, Real
I was gonna
Housewives of
say her.
Atlanta.
She's the songwriter.
The chanteuse, yes, and the singer. Okay.
I think she wrote TLC Waterfalls, by the way.
Yes, and bills, bills, bills. I mean, that woman is paid for life. Her and her generations of generations that come from
Well,
her.
I think her daughter is on there's a new
Yes.
Bravo show about New York City and some of the
Yes.
younger.
Yes,
I
yes,
met
yes.
a few of them at a party recently, and it was just fun. I love meeting the other people on Bravo shows, so I got to meet a few of them. I met Candy. I think her name's Riley.
Yes. Does it feel like a giant fraternity sorority like
It
kind of
feels like
situation being a part of Bravo?
it feels like I don't know. It almost feels like a really big like family.
Dysfunctional one, of course.
in a way, but I love being a part of this. I've met so many really interesting, cool people, and people I never would have imagined I'd get along with that I do. And, so whether it's Housewives or other shows, like it's been really cool to be like a part of this kind of fun.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I feel like once you are in the family, like, we're all connected in a really cool way.
Yeah. Next up, who said that? I don't need your approval, darling. I have my own.
The darling is the giveaway, I feel like.
I don't need your approval, darling. I have my own. My horrible accent.
Lisa Vanderpump.
Ding, 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 ding. Real. Well, and from where?
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Extra points. Next up on who said that? Me. There's a difference between proof, receipts, the truth, and a timeline.
Heather Gay, Salt Lake City.
Ding, 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 ding. You're doing good. You're doing good. I'm an acquired taste. If you don't like me, acquire some taste.
Who said? I mean, that sounds like Luann.
Same show. I'll give you this. Same show from the last one.
Oh, say it one more time.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm an acquired taste. If you don't like me, acquire some taste.
Is that Lisa Barlow?
Yes, good job, baby gorgeous. Next up on who said that? Who said
that? Portia.
Ding, ding, ding. What show?
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Good job. Last but not least, getting high, hitting low, and trying to stay in the middle.
That's me.
Good job.
Hi, hola, bonjour. It's MeMeCherry, your friendly neighborhood podcaster, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the sponsor of our show, Neil Does Art. Thank you, Neil Does Art, for sponsoring SOFEpod and MeMeCherry Productions. At neildoesart.com, you're going to find a full range of Eastern Sierra photography-inspired art. It's accessible art, art for all. And if you're anything like me and you like stickers, we love stickers around here. You can get some cute stickers like this. She looks like she's got something to tell you. She's looking at you like, you're 5 minutes late and you were supposed to be here 30 minutes ago. That's what she's saying. Then we have this cute little deer who's kind of like, hey, Beach, we saw you from across the bar. And then this little squirrel moment that's very much giving you, hey, Beach. Thank you, Neil Does Art, for sponsoring the show. Check them out, neildoesart.com. Use promo code CHERRY for 10% off.
So talk to me about your process. When we had booked this show, you announced that you have a book coming out. I pre-ordered it. Talk to me about the process of writing a book, becoming a book author, and the title, Why Cake Eater?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it's amazing that I had the opportunity. I was, being on Bravo, been on nine seasons now. It's been, I've looked at some other people in the Bravo family and the Bravo world, and a lot of my counterparts have written books, even Shep, Craig, Sheena's got one coming.
Paige with her Giggly Squad one.
Yeah, I mean, even going further back, like Heather Gay.
Yes.
Like a lot of the people have written books. So I was always like, oh, that's amazing. And I purchased a few of those books to support, and I've been excited to see kind of how those things turn out. And I'm glad. And I saw them do that. I was always kind of like, that's really cool. I think maybe that'd be something I'm interested in. And I was at an event, this is in 2022, at a live show. It was for like a Bravo thing, and there was a Q&A at the end, and a woman raised her hand and asked a question, and her question was directed towards me. And she said, hey, Carl, have you considered writing a book? And I said, I've thought about it, but similar to what I said to you at the beginning of this, I'm a nobody, like, who cares? And she's like, I'm a publisher. I think you should write one and we should talk. So I ended up talking to that woman.
That's very Tyra Banks of you, like Tyra Banks getting found at the coffee shop. You get a book deal for going to like a Bravo event and getting a Q&A. Good for you.
I didn't get a book deal from that.
Oh.
It was like lightning in a bottle. And she said that to me.
Just the thought of it. It sparked the thought. Okay.
Sparked the thought. And then from there, I started to kind of do some work on my own.
Got it.
you know, what is this about? What the framework of it? And, you know, it's a memoir of my life. And I was thinking long and hard about a name and a title, even before I found the publisher. So I started
Nice.
working on like chapters and like, what would this be? Like what, you know, my life growing up. I was born in Chicago. People think I was born in Pittsburgh. I was actually born in Chicago. There's various parts of my life that I wanted to kind of outline. So I did that. And then I was thinking about titles.
Yeah.
I'm from an area like my childhood that I remember the most is Pittsburgh. I grew up there from age 5 till 18. But as a young kid in Pittsburgh, the town we grew up in is called Upper St. Clair. This particular town is also where my dad went to high school and grew up as well. So I was a second generation Radke in this area.
Oh, wow.
And my dad and his brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles, when I was growing up, they would make fun of the young kids like, oh, you're a cake eater. You're a cake eater. Like it was a term that was used in our town to describe people from my town because where I'm from is more viewed as an upper middle class, wealthy area. We
Huh.
were not wealthy or upper middle class per se. We were very blue collar. We worked hard. But I
Sure.
grew up in this community where I was basically being labeled as this rich kid. I played a lot of sports growing up. So anytime we were at a soccer field, basketball court, football field, the parents from the other teams or the kids from the other schools, no matter what, we were known as like you call Upper St. Clair kids cake eaters.
Wow.
It's a thing. And I was always really confused
And
by
that's
it.
a great book title,
And
Carl.
exactly, it was very catchy. It was something that stood out. So fast forward,
And it's
I'm
part of your lore. Like that is deep lore. Like deep,
totally,
deep,
and
deep lore.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down like 2023, and I was like, I like this. I'm going to sit on it.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I finally got introduced to a publisher that we really bonded and connected.
Sure. Because I'm sure that's a whole journey too, like finding the right
Totally.
person to work with.
Someone you can trust, someone that you believe or they believe in you, and you can really be vulnerable and open. So I brought her all of this stuff that I've been working on. But she's like, Carl, just because you're on Bravo, I actually think you have something that's really important that could be really powerful, regardless of your TV stuff.
Yeah.
So we worked even further on this whole thing, and I told her my title, and she's like, "It's brilliant. I love it." Now, I still was kind of unsure, but this is I'll land this plane in about 30 seconds. I wanted that to be the title.
29, 28. No, I'm kidding.
And then I remembered back in the season 2 of Summer House, there's a moment where I get a large July 4th American flag cake slapped right in my face. It's a hilarious moment. I still laugh at it. To me, that was like a funny moment that kind of tied in my TV life, but then
Sure.
from where I'm from.
Yeah.
But this is the part I want to share.
The
So
final through line.
I was at a charity golf outing last spring, about a year ago today,
Sure.
in the Hamptons. I played in a tournament. So Jerome Bettis is a former Hall of Fame football player. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Jerome Bettis has a golf charity for inner city youth. He raises money and gives back to communities. He's an amazing philanthropic guy. I do a lot of charity. I try to support, try to like do what I can to help.
You're on this podcast.
I play on this golf outing. There's a dinner the night before the golf outing. And at the dinner is a bunch of NFL quarterbacks,
Sure.
former players, current players. I'm a big sports guy. So I'm like John Elway, Dan Marino, and like,
Yeah.
now those two guys actually weren't there, but
Yeah.
as an example, a lot
You're,
of
you're
NFL,
surrounded by stars that you're like in awe of.
yes. And I'm not normally like that
You
around
don't get starstruck.
a little bit, but not like
Yeah.
it's athletes that kind of, I'm like, oh my God. And they're
Sure,
always
sure.
usually bigger people too.
Of
So
course. No, and I get it because there's something about an athlete because like the dedication, like the
yeah, they have
work.
like a talent and a confidence level. And so anyway, I see he was one of my favorite quarterbacks. He played
Yeah.
for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
His name's Ben Roethlisberger. I walk
Okay.
up to the publicist and I say, "Hey, can I say hi to Ben? I'm a huge fan." She's like, "Yeah, of course. Just go." Like I'm at like a private charity event. Like I'm supposed to be there. It's not awkward or weird if I say hi to him, but I'm still like, I'm not sure if I can.
Of course.
He's like, just go up and say hi to him. So I walk up. He's 6'5". I'm 6'5". He's a big guy still. And I'm like, "Hey, Ben, I'm Carl Radke. I'm from Upper St. Clair in Pittsburgh." Without a beat, he goes,
He
"Cake
calls
eater."
you cake eater.
without a beat. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. He's like, sorry, man, you know how it is.
You're a cake eater.
And that's like I have the former quarterback. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. First time I shake his hand, the first thing out of his mouth when I told him where I'm from is cake eater. I'm like,
Is that in the book?
In my head, I go, that's the title.
Is in the book?
That story?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to participate with the story.
Oh my God, that would be great.
I'm actually going to see him in 2 weeks for the tournament again.
Well, that's perfect segue because I want to go back to SOFT Bar and I think we can talk manifesting. One big theme about this podcast is manifesting. I'm big on manifesting. So, okay, you see Mr. Roethlisberger. Sorry, I'm not like
Yeah, Roethlisberger, Ben
Yeah.
Roethlisberger.
You see him again. And like, what are we manifesting for his involvement with Cake Eater?
I think there's like forewords or afterwords in books, or just like I'm going to shout him out in my kind of acknowledgement section.
You need to at least.
Oh, I will. No, it's pretty well documented a little bit. I keep talking about it. I'm not trying to like, I don't know if he wants to be involved in it in any way, so I don't want to be
Of course.
disrespectful or assume anything, but
I just think if anything, it's just like it's that extra layer of frosting on the cake
yeah.
that affirms the through line and the lore. And
Well,
so for that alone, you know what I mean? Like
it made perfect sense to me. I did reach out to his team. I'm going to see him soon for the golf thing, so we'll see what transpires. I'm not going to bank on it, but
of course.
I know, it's a true story. I lived it. But what's cool is, I think the title is catchy, but I think people, when they do open and read it, it's going to be very different than what they're maybe expecting. Like, there's a lot more to me that Bravo hasn't had a chance to tell. And there's more nuance to my life story that has been kind of condensed and shown on TV at times, which isn't like a full capture of who I am and some of the things I've been through. And there's stories that I've never told publicly about some of my ups and downs that I hope can help people. I mean, it's vulnerable. Yeah. Some of these stuff was really hard to talk about.
I'm sure.
So I felt like it was important to use my platform, and I wanted to be honest about what I've been through. And I ultimately want to help some other people. And I think the book can be a nice flag, or like kind of flag in the ground to continue to like do these types of things. I love public speaking. I love community building. I love helping other people. I love sharing my story to try and make other people feel less afraid to share their stories.
Yeah.
So of course I'd like to sell a lot of books and do really well, but it felt like something inside of me was needing to do this, and I had the opportunity, and I felt very lucky but it was a lot of work. I mean, from the time I met the right publisher till when you saw that announcement was probably 2.5 years.
That tracks. Yeah. I have other friends that have written books.
And I had spent a lot of time working on it prior to meeting the publisher I'm working with. I'm working with Simon & Schuster. So I got really lucky. Like, I'm very blessed to have a lot of great support. So I could not have done this alone, for sure.
Well, good for you. So we're manifesting that for Cake Eater. What are we manifesting for SOFT Bar?
I mean, opening this summer, we're working closely with our construction team, and I just want to open up on, in the summer, we wanted to be open already this spring, but I'm new to some of this stuff. So I get a little
construction alone, darling. If they tell you a year, it's 2.
Cool. Well, what we've accomplished from the time, I mean, the reunion from Summer House was a year ago, and I said out loud for the first time, like, I'm actually doing this.
Yeah.
It's been a year since that. Like, from the time I said, like, I'm actually doing this, we have a team, I have a company, till now, like, it's actually not that crazy. It takes about 13 to 14 months.
Yeah.
What we've done from the time I announced it was pop-ups and proving and testing. So I have the mobile van.
Proof of concept.
Exactly. I wanted people to try the drinks. I wanted people to experience this. I wanted them to kind of learn and understand what these drinks are and the difference, or like the difference between ours and all the other non-alc that's out there. It's just more of a premium and an elevated.
Sure. Have you considered like keeping the pop-ups as part of the business model?
We are keeping it a part of it. The funny thing is, SOFT Bar, we're not like I'm just using this as an example. Like, I don't have a SOFT Bar canned product. Like,
of course.
we are like a craft. You walk up and you're saying, "Hey, I have a hot date in an hour. I want to feel focused and calm."
Sure.
We can serve you that bespoke craft cocktail for you.
But I'm just thinking like for events and things like that. I'm an executive
No, we
assistant, so like I run a lot of events.
we've done some events. The problem is people are assuming that me showing up with the van, oh, it's free. You need to give your drinks away to get more exposure. I'm like, no, I don't.
It's a
I don't need exposure. I just need
business.
people buying the drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
it's a
there's
business at the end of the day.
exactly like, trust me, it's cool to be invited to places and to give away
Of
stuff, but
course.
that's not a real business. That's just like people just want to meet Carl.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm really trying to build an experience that people we have hard costs. I have a head bartender. I have an expert on nutrition. I have like a whole team in place that we create these drinks based on, 200 people are going to be there, 150 people are going to be there, but there's a cost associated with it.
Of course. No, I mean, again, I run events. I
Yeah,
totally
we
get
have
it.
been doing them, but I just want to make sure your listeners know, like, it's not just like rolling around town handing out free stuff.
No, no, I'm envisioning like again, so I work for undisclosed, but like top level tech company. And so like I'm just used to spending like thousands and thousands of dollars for like high level events. And it's something that like, for example, last year I hosted for my VP a happy hour with hundreds of people, and I asked the bar vendor to make sure to have like mocktail options, and like the ones that they had weren't the best. And so it would have been nice to like have a proper, soft bar type
you
vendor to like
nailed
bring on campus to do that. You know what I mean?
you nailed it. I mean, that's where we come in, because I've
Yeah.
all been to events even during the day.
Yeah.
Options for liquid, even coffee based. It's like black coffee, here's your
Yeah.
creamer, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not even good coffee service either.
Yeah.
So yes, we want to be. I'll give you an example. Google reached out recently. They have a 200 person event.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're trying to work that out. Now,
Yeah.
there's some other logistical things that may not pan out, but
Of course.
companies and corporations, I think we're a perfect fit. Weddings, private parties.
Yeah, so that's what I'm envisioning. I don't mean like a little ice cream truck going through New York City. I mean like somebody's wedding, like when you see Kyle doing her white party, that she has like whatever burger vendor show up. There's also like a softball. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of like what I'm envisioning for you, Carl. I
No,
dream
and we've
I
been.
dream big over here at SOFEpod.
No, I love it. We've been doing that, but not to the volume that I think people maybe are expecting. But
Sure.
it is going to be a part of our business for sure.
I suspect that if you open yourself up to that, it could be like a good,
Well, no, we have it.
yeah, yeah.
What I'm saying is, that's how I started this business.
Yeah.
We're a mobile pop-up.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting people to pay the premium price for it is
I
actually
get that.
very difficult. People don't believe. They're like, well, it's non-alc. Why is it so expensive?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
No, I
reason
get that.
it takes a team, and I have my head bartender comes from 11 Madison Park, which is a restaurant here in New York,
Yeah,
very widely, acclaimed in hospitality.
yeah, yeah,
The ingredients still cost money. His time and his craft and his experience costs money.
yeah.
The van, the hard costs just to put it all together, there is inherently cost. Just because there's no alcohol doesn't mean it's free.
Oh no, I get that.
But people assume, oh, the non-alc bar is going to be $1,000. It's more like 5,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you're delivering, you're not delivering Sprite and
Yeah,
like,
it's
the shitty
another
mocktail
level up.
cans.
And a lot
Yeah,
of the options we serve are premium, the
yeah,
best in non-alc, and there's cost associated with it. But yeah, I'm with you on the
yeah,
mobile thing. We do it,
yeah,
but it's not been like
yeah, yeah.
gangbusters. I think like people assume.
No, but again, but like, see, I'm envisioning, yeah, like a Google event or like, insert tech company or insert big
Yeah.
event
Well, if
company
you're
or
listening,
insert,
tech companies, we're
yeah.
doing all these parties in offsites.
Well, I will also keep you in mind in the future when I have a giant one like that again. Um, so I do, I have this day job that I mentioned that helps fund these side projects that I do, but I am also an entrepreneur on the side, MeMeCherry Productions. I'm also starting Little Batch Company, my micro bakery. I come from a line of entrepreneurs. My grandfather had his own business. My mom, she brought us to San Francisco because she was a tech founder back in the 90s. Like I remember answering the phone in the living room, latinolink.com, can I help you? This is Mariana. And so I've seen businesses rise and fall because, she also was part of that big first bubble that burst. And so I've seen what she has done with her life, and she's a huge inspiration to me. And I basically am taking, like my bonus from my day job and investing it into this dream of mine. What advice would you give? Because you are an entrepreneur, you're surrounded by entrepreneurs, a baby entrepreneur like me. What kind of advice would you give somebody like me?
Um, I mean, I don't necessarily think I have great advice, so I'm probably not the right person to ask.
Don't downgrade yourself, sir.
I think I said this recently. I mean, nothing should be a below you or above you.
Yeah.
I think some people coming in with big ideas or whatever it might be, the concept they're building, you've got to be willing to do every little inch of that. And I know maybe you don't know every little inch, but like the way I frame it is plunge the toilets.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, for sure. Yes, yes, yes.
So there's, as a founder or the business owner, that behavior and that level of like you're throwing your ego out the door. It doesn't matter that you're the owner or founder. You're willing to get on your knees and plunge a toilet or scrub a floor or drive a long distance to do whatever it takes for the business. People that you work with or hire or companies you are adjacent to, I think, see that energy. And I think that it starts with behaviors like that.
Yeah.
I would just say, like, as a founder, don't be afraid to look like it's weird that you're doing that. Like most people I think would be like, wait, don't you hire someone? It's like, no, I do it here. I'm learning how to do it first.
Yeah.
And then you're comfortable doing it and knowing it. And sure, as you grow or whatever, you can hire people to clean the toilets. But
Well, that to me makes a good boss because I've worked for a lot of people over the years. And there's some business people that have no business running a business. And it's
Yep.
the ones that started at the bottom and like were the dishwasher, were the scraping of the cooktop, that then became the manager of the restaurant, and then became the owner of the restaurant. They tend to have a better head on their shoulders of running a business. And so I respect that point of view of like, yeah, definitely. I'm very much I not only plunge the toilets, I plunge other people's toilets. Like I work in community a lot. I do a lot of volunteering. Last night I went to my drag mom's. My drag mom has a party that she throws, and like her co-producer could just tell that I'm just one of those people that like if you tell me to do something I'm gonna do it. So she's like, help me with this, help me with that. I'm like, okay. And I say all that to say that I am also producing this year's live show, SOFEpod.com/live, SOFEpod.com/live, August 7th, Oasis in San Francisco. We're bringing you podcasting, we're bringing you drag, we're bringing you comedy, we're bringing you the Bay Area's first reverse roast. What's a reverse roast, you ask, Carl? In a world in a world where it's very dark and scary and things are happening, the world is dark and scary enough, and I don't really like traditional roasts. I could never do one. And I started like with my friends, I started playing with this concept of like, what about a reverse roast where like we're nice to each other, but like in a mean way? And enough people laughed at it that I said, okay, I'm gonna make it a show. So SOFEpod.com/live. I'm going to be slowly announcing the cast. It's an amazing cast of performers. We have local icons that I'm so proud to be a part of this show, but it's a big bet of mine. I'm like contracted with this venue to like sell tickets. So please buy a ticket. And speaking of contracted in time, I only have very limited time with Carl. So we're going to say goodbye to the main show now, but you can come catch him. Patreon.com/MeMeCherry Productions. For the sugar tier and the caramel tier, we're going to have Patreon exclusive quick little game with Carl. But for now, for the main show, we're going to say goodbye. Carl, it's very, I did a reel earlier, or a story, a story where I kind of like flashed the notes where I was prepping for us. And I said that, I've been trying to land this podcast for a year and I'm beyond honored. And I still feel the same way. I'm so honored that you shared your story with me and my listeners and the viewers on YouTube. And I just I can't wait to see what happens with you. And so
Thank-
where can they find you and where can they find Soft Bar?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on social media, at Carl Radke. It's Carl with a C. Instagram or TikTok. I'm more active on Instagram, but I do have a TikTok. Yeah, I mean, you can find more about Soft Bar on Instagram or our website. It's SOFT Bar Café on Instagram. Got a nice, following going, which has been great. A lot of momentum, but a lot of information on the business and the drinks we serve, the community we're building, the events.
Sure.
It's all there on Instagram, a lot of good stuff. And then if you want to check out our website, it's www.soft-bar.com. If you're interested in having a mobile event or us coming to your company or on site, you can request through our website, an event form where we kind of collect information on what you're looking to
A
do.
cute little RFI, like they say
Exactly.
in the biz.
Yes. So we're trying, how many people you're hosting and what you're looking to do. We've done a fair amount of these. It's just, like I said, people, I think it does come as a cost, but it's a premium service. It's
Yeah.
an elevated,
No, but I mean, you don't show up to Fendi and ask for a discount. So, you're the Fendi of soft bars and we move accordingly. You know what I mean?
Well, I think when Fendi maybe first started, they probably had some harder. It's like, who's this Fendi guy? Why is he cooler than everybody else?
Thank you, Carl. And
Thank
to the
you.
main show, we will say bye and come over to the Patreon. Bye.
Thank you.
MeMeCherry.